Hi everyone, hope everyone's doing okay. Hope everyone's staying safe and healthy and positive during these really difficult times we're going through just now. Last week's video just kind of focused a little bit on what the parts of the guitar are, how a tuner works. I said I was going to show you how to get a tuner on your phone. Very quickly realized everyone knows how to use the App Store on their phone. But it's worth just quickly pointing out there's lots of free tuner apps for both iOS and Android. They use the microphone on your phone and they work the exact same way as the one that I plugged into. Super simple to use. This video will be a little bit more involved. I'm going to show you the numbers for the fingers on your left hand and how those relate to reading chord diagrams. I'm going to show you how to read chord diagrams. It's something that isn't really shown much in YouTube videos because everyone wants you to keep coming back and watching their videos. But if I show you it now, it means you can take your learning under your own control and you can expand your knowledge outside of these videos. I will show you a few chords. I will show you the E major chord. I'll show you the A major chord. I'll show you how to practice those chords to make sure that you can hear them clearly, get the fingering right. And then I'll also leave you with a diagram for the D major chord for you to work out yourself. One of the first songs that I'm going to look at in this little series is going to feature that D major chord, so it's worth getting it down before the next kind of videos start going out. That's basically everything that I'm going to cover in this video, so let's get started. Okay, so when you're talking about fingering, it's really simple. With the left hand, you start from the index finger and move over to the pinky, and it simply just goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Super simple. You'll see on the graphic that I've got on the screen, the thumb is notated by a T. So the thumb is sometimes used by players to kind of fret notes over the top of the neck. The earliest example I can think of anyone doing it is Jimi Hendrix, although I could be wrong on that. I'm sure someone will be very quick to let me know in the comments if I am wrong. It's not a traditional technique, but it's something that has become more and more popular over the years, and I'm sure you'll see a lot more of it as time goes on as well. But it's not something that's really kind of taught in schools. It's just something that people tend to stumble upon by themselves a lot of the time. But I might look at it in a future video. We'll see. The reason that the number of fingers are important is for chord charts. Like I said in this video, we're going to look at how to read some chord charts, and the numbers of the fingers will really help you when you're looking at them. So let's move on to looking at the E major, and I'll show you exactly why that's important. Okay, so when you're looking at chord diagrams, there's a few important things to know. The first thing that we need to look at is along the bottom, you'll see the names of each string. Remembering that there's two E's, the lowercase e, that references the high E, which is the one that's closest to your knee. And that the capital E represents the low E, the one that's closest to your face. You'll also see some zeros along the top. Those are strings that are played open. So if it's not represented on the fretboard that you play a note, you look to the top of the chord diagram. If you see that 0, it means that you're playing that string. There's the 1 as well. That represents where the first fret is in relation to the diagram. So if that was actually a 4, then we would know that the diagram actually starts up here. But because it's a 1, we know that the diagram starts down there. The dots, that's fairly obvious. It represents what frets are played, and then the numbers, they represent the fingers that you use. So looking at this diagram, we know that if we want to play an E, start with, we've got our second finger, and we're going to put that on the second fret of the A string. We've got our third finger, which we're going to put on the second fret of the D string, and then we've got the first fret here with the first finger on the G string. So that sounds like this. I've also got this camera over here that's so that you can get a nice close-up of what I'm doing. Now when it comes to practicing chords, it's really important that you make sure that you're getting all the notes ringing out. So I tend to find that the best practice is to strum the whole chord and then play each note individually, and then strum the chord again. And you want to do that a couple of times just to make sure that you're definitely getting it right. So for example, if it sounds like this, hear how that note's not ringing out properly. That's because part of this finger, the fleshy part, is accidentally muting that string. So it means that when I go for that again, I want to make sure that this finger is extra curled around so that that fleshy part at the bottom there isn't accidentally muting that string. So now that we've got that down, let's look at the A string. Okay, so moving on to the A major chord, when looking at the diagram, you'll see that there's only one minor difference, and that's that the low E string, it has an X above it. That's the last piece of information that you really need, and that's simply that the X represents a string that you do not play. So we're not playing all 6 strings with this chord, we're only playing 5. We're placing the first 3 fingers on the 2nd fret, concurrently on the D, G, and B string. So the first finger goes on the 2nd fret of the D, the 2nd finger goes on the G, and the 3rd finger goes on the B. And then we're playing all of those strings except for the low E. Practicing those the exact same way that we did with the E string. Now it's really important that once you've got these chords down that you practice changing between the two. So maybe just a simple just keep on doing that, make sure that you're able to change between those chords, and then once you've got that down, you can add this 3rd chord in, which is D major. So I'm not going to show you how to play this one because I've just shown you how to practice it. I've showed you how to read the chord diagrams, so it's important that you're able to work these things out for yourself. Once you've got that down, you can practice jumping between playing the E, the A, and the D chord, and then in the first song that I'm going to cover is going to use all 3 of these chords. So keep practicing for that, and hopefully in the next video we'll be able to move on to a song. Okay, so that's all I've got for this week, folks. I'm going to try and ramp up the rate at which I'm making content and posting online, so hopefully as time goes on we'll see more videos more frequently. Keep practicing, stay safe, make sure that you're following all the health and quarantine procedures that are in place wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.